And we are back with Despina Priala. We just spoke about woke corporations, and now we're going to chat about Kenya High Vibe Frequency Salon in Palm Beach. So this owner of the business has refused to serve clients that have had the COVID vaccine. Medical experts are absolutely slamming her for it. Despina, do you think it's discrimination?
It absolutely is. It clearly is. And she may not be aware of this yet, or maybe she is now. But perhaps another example of virtual signalling and being woke in a terrible fashion. So in my view, because this person has come out and made statements such as this: the unknown health effects of the mRNA vaccine are not covered by our public liability insurance, and we are not your hairdresser if you've had the vaccine. So what she is doing, it would seem, from the statements that she's made on social media, I'm not making these up, I'm quoting, is that she is refusing to provide goods and services to those people who have had the COVID vaccine, which is clearly discriminatory, and it's against the Anti-Discrimination Act in Queensland, and she is in Queensland, of course, at Palm Beach, as you've said before. So she clearly has breached current laws, and we were talking about that in the last segment. Well, we have laws, various laws, for a reason. She's now breached those laws, and it is discriminatory, and she's acting in a discriminatory manner, and we'll have to see the fallout and what happens.
She obviously has taken a stand, a personal stand, but she's also a business owner, of course. Does she have a right as an individual to have a view on something and to say, okay, well, I am not going to serve you if you have, in this case, if you've had a vaccine? Does she not have a right to decide who and who doesn't come into her business?
Well, no, in one sense. So there's a couple of things we can talk about there. We can talk about freedom of speech, which we've talked about many times. And if she wants to go out there and give her views about the COVID vaccine or other vaccines or other issues, she can knock herself out, you know. She can say, well, I think it's great, I think it's terrible. She has no basis, she's not a healthcare provider, she's not a doctor. She's absolutely not involved at all in the healthcare profession, yet she felt so inclined, virtual signalling perhaps, to come out and provide these statements. So she can make certain statements about what she thinks about the vaccine, so can you and I. But what she can't do is then use that in the business to then refuse to provide those people who have had the vaccine, refuse those people goods and services by saying, you are not allowed in my store because you've had the vaccine. That's clearly discriminatory, clearly. And who knows what's going to happen to her customer base as a result. And that's her concern, and perhaps people will take her to the Human Rights Commission, which they're entitled to do, I will say that. But what I'm, I suppose, more concerned on a global issue or a wider issue is that what is she trying to do here in society? Like we talked about in the last segment. So is she trying to create a movement? Is she trying to send a message out there in society by saying, well, I'm a business that will refuse you if you have the vaccine, so other businesses will? You know, and that's not right if she's trying to do that, because then people in society may or may not get influenced, hopefully not, by this statement, and then decide, should I have the vaccine or not? I mean, that would be absolutely ridiculous if that happened.
And like you said, people can complain if they want to, but could someone actually sue? If someone was if they were a regular customer of this woman, could they sue her? Could they take her to court if they're like, nah, get out of my salon?
Well, at the very least, they can lodge a complaint with the Human Rights Commission, okay? And if this happened to quite a few people, then they should mount a class action or just a group of them and make a group complaint to the Human Rights Commission. It's there for a reason. The Anti-Discrimination Act is there for a reason, and she's clearly being discriminatory. And I think that people should take a strong stance, because the potential wider issue, as I said, is that she's sending a message out there in society, and people may be listening to that wrongly, that, oh, if I have the vaccine, this is what's going to happen to me, and I'll be discriminated. That's absolutely wrong, and I would not want that message to be sent. out there in society. She is not a lawmaker. She's not a healthcare provider. In actual fact, the Gold Coast Medical Association came out and said this statement, which I thought was, quite a diplomatic statement. But they said, wouldn't it be wonderful if this hairdresser could actually meet up with public health staff to get properly briefed and educated around the safety and efficacy of the COVID-19 vaccine? I think that's absolutely on point. And it goes to the heart of my message in the previous segment about people just saying whatever they think comes out of their mouth because they are them. And I want to make a statement and look at me and look what I'm doing. It's the epitome of, virtual signalling at its worst.
Well, Despina, she suggested that her public liability insurance may not cover it.
Well, I'd like to see that. I would love to see a letter from an insurance company who is making that statement right now, because I'm not aware of that at all. And I dare say she's either used that as her justification in saying what she has said, or she just doesn't know how to read insurance policies. But by all means, someone should invite her to bring that statement out in the public arena.
And just finally, she was taken to court. There was a bunch of people who decided to take some sort of legal action against her. What could happen to her?
Well, she could go out of business, for one, because if there's going to be a backlash and there's going to be claims and might be claims for loss and damage or all sorts of things, who knows, then that will hurt her. It will hurt her business and her profit margin, undoubtedly. So perhaps the initial intentions of sending this message might end up being the exact opposite to what she, wanted or intended.
And I definitely feel like she's already alienated, literally all frontline workers doing this, because she's just said, no, you're not allowed in our salon.
Everyone who's a frontline worker, everyone who's a healthcare provider and worker in the healthcare profession, everyone who's in aged care. Sorry, you can't come into my store. That's a very wide range and percentage of people in society in Australia. So you just can't do that. And I think she'll see the consequences of that very soon.
Interesting times indeed. Now, Despina, you'll be back with us again next Thursday morning from 8:30. In the meantime, if someone would like to chat to you and to perhaps take some legal matters further, what's the best way to get in contact?
Yes, so they can call our office, 55291 294, and talk to myself or my lovely staff and leave a message. I will get back to you. We're very busy, but always there to try and help where we can. And you can go online, our website, prialalegal.com.au, and also check out our YouTube channel under my name if you've missed any of the segments or want to catch it again.
Yep, if you type in PRIALA, you'll find all of Despina's, all of the segments from this radio program and everything else that Despina uploads as well. We'll see you next week.
See you then.
Thanks, Despina.